Welcome to the Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour, the state's richest tournament fishing event. We're here in beautiful Brainerd Lakes area with tournament headquarters at Moonlight Bay. I'm Chip Lear.
And I'm Tommy Scarlett.
Tommy, the second stop of the tour, all heading towards the Tournament of Champions, this time the Whitefish Chain.
And right now, Tournament Director Tim Lesmeister is behind us. He has all his anglers lined up, conducting the blast-off. They're heading out to their fish, which are on the bite, and you will not want to miss this.
The Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour is brought to you by Pepsi, the Minnesota State Lottery, K-Fan, and Ranger Boats.
Hi, I'm Bob Dole, and I've always spoken to you frankly. That's why I'm eager to tell you about a product that helps me feel youthful and vital again. What is this amazing product? My faithful little blue friend, an ice-cold Pepsi-Cola.
Are the revitalizing effects of Pepsi-Cola right for you? Check with your local convenience store counter clerk and start living.
I feel like a kid again.
Next.
That's different.
Happens every day.
The Minnesota State Lottery. Don't forget to have some fun.
AM 1130.
Hi, this is Captain Billy Hildebrand from Fan Outdoors. Billy's always got some good advice. I've learned a lot about fishing, for sure, and hunting. I enjoy the friendly banter going back and forth. I like listening when fishing's on, fishing's great. When hunting's on, hunting's great. Join us Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings on your outdoor sports leader, KFAN.
Taking turns out here isn't about sharing. And all out isn't anywhere close to empty. Ultimately, you don't have time for compromise. And we've never had a place for it. Ranger Boats and Mercury Outboards. Start to finish, this is solid performance for a liquid world.
It's kind of neat meeting fishing with the different guys. You know, they don't know you from anybody, but you spend a day on the water with them, and then you know, you end up meeting them somewhere else at a different lake, or just, you know, meeting them at a bait or a tackle shop, or just, you know, and they always stop and talk to you, which is kind of neat.
As an amateur, I think the most important thing is that we do a good job helping our pros and providing some feedback if we know something.
We're here at Whitefish Lake, and this is the first time I've been on this body of water, and it's unique in the way that it's a set of chain of lakes, and each one differs in its own way.
You can fish really clean water like on trout, or a little bit dirtier water on pine and daggett.
A lot of times you can put together a different pattern in each lake.
There's usually a strong weed line bite. This year the weeds aren't quite up and the dock bite seems to be real hot.
The problem with like the docks is that they get hit really hard, and the fish do get beat up some. People are practicing on them, and then they're trying to catch them again in the tournament. So I think that your weed line fish might be your easier fish to catch.
I'm going to say the inside weed line to the docks is probably the best pattern tomorrow. You're going to see a lot of fish, I think, come out of the slop.
Hot sunny day like what I think we're probably going to see tomorrow. You're going to see the fish mainly are going to be out deep, you know, anywhere from 12 to 15 feet of water. In the morning, you should be able to get some shallow water fish going.
Pre-fishing has just been, for me, awesome. I've had a lot of good fish going. I've got schooling fish, and I'm looking forward to getting them tomorrow.
Chipper, these anglers seem pretty confident about the bite that's going on.
Well, they should be, Tom. During pre-fish, we were faced with prime summer largemouth fishing conditions. Flat water, hot, and humid.
And I tell you what though, things have changed. This morning, as you noticed, we had overcast skies, we had a cooler temperature. It's actually going to shift these bass around a little bit, and the anglers are going to have to change their presentations and tactics in order to catch these fish.
Versatility is going to be the key to crowning the 2001 Whitefish Chain champion.
Let's roll onto the lake right now, climb right inside the anglers' boats, and see exactly what they're doing to adapt to these changing conditions.
Well, right now I'm just kind of counting boats going out. Just got an idea of the lake is really split into two halves. So you got the main lake of Whitefish and you got the smaller lakes, Pine and Daggett. So what my gut feeling is that 2/3 of them are going to be hanging off to the right to go into the main lake fish, and the other few are going to head up my way where we're going. And there's not a lot of good spots up in the smaller lakes. So what I'm hoping to do is, you know, being boat number 32, is still be able to get to that spot first. Joe, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Little Pine and start there. There's a knob that comes off the tip of the river, assuming we can get there first. There's a lot of guys in front of us, but if we can get to the fish, we'll catch them. And what it is, it's just a flat comes out, the grass comes up to about 4 feet, okay? There's about 2 feet of water on top of it, so I want to throw these weightless worms, and it's just going to throw it out there and basically just let it sit on top of the grass. Every once in a while, pull a little bit. You won't really feel the bite. You just, if you feel the bite, the fish will be moving with it. Just reel down to them and just pull and just keep reeling.
Boat number 32.
We're here watching Pro Scott Bonema. He's fishing an extended weed point that comes out. He's pitching a Texas rig worm with an 1/8 ounce weight up on top of the weeds, and they're slowly working it back to the boat. This is a unique situation. Scott's still on our marker buoy, which doesn't allow any of the other anglers to impede on his fishing. They have to stay away from it, and that's important with a spot on the spot because Scott's on some really nice fish.
It's a nice one. Easy, girl. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right. That's the kind we need to catch right there. That's a beautiful fish. This one's going to the show for sure.
We've been having pretty good luck this morning. We had our limit by about 8:30, something like that. And now we're just trying to catch some bigger fish with some top waters. This is the first cloudy day we've had, in probably a week. It's been real hot and real sunny. And we started this morning out in a little weed spot, and we caught, I think, 6 fish out of that, flipping a jig. And now we come in here, we're in the flow zone between Whitefish and Rush Lake. And it doesn't get fished that much, and sometimes there's some big fish that hang around here. I drew a partner from Arizona who's a tournament fisherman. It's kind of neat to fish with somebody that's not from your area because they have a lot of different techniques and different things you can learn. That's what's great about the Pro-Am event.
I'm kind of in the midsection across lake here, right around Twin Islands. There's a coming off of there's a bunch of rocks that extend straight out from that point, just kind of out to the island here. And then there's we got weeds on both sides, and the fish I'm finding are laying on the rocks, right on the edge of the weeds. There's a fish. Come on, it's a big bass. Come on, come on, baby. Come on, get that net. Yeah, yeah. Right. Woohoo! Oh, it's not a hog, but I'll take it. A tough day like today. Oh.
Holy buckets, did you see that? We're less than an hour into this tournament. John Crane is 400 yards from the start of this event. That's the 6th fish they've caught today, working the super shallow weeds.
Got one? There you go. Way to go, Seth.
What we're fishing is the outside of a big flat. We're fishing cabbage and coontail, isolated clumps, and just keep working it and use multiple lures, keep changing up. You never cast to the same clump of cabbage or the same coontail. If they see something different, they just might give you the honor of catching them. It's Texas rigged worm. Basically what I'm doing is highlighting the tail with spike it. Just a small section of the tail. You dip it, then you stick it in the water, and it actually glows in the water.
Beautiful fish. Love Minnesota bass fishing.
The Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour is brought to you by Star Tribune, Fox Sports Net North, Yamaha Motor Corporation, and Media Rare Incorporated.
News, free time, travel, home zone, cars.com, Work Avenue, shopping and communities. StarTribune.com. See what you can do.
Good.
Take it in, take it in.
Isn't your son on the team?
Yeah, starting center.
My daughter's a cheerleader. She's the third one from the left.
She's pretty light on her feet for a fat girl.
To the hoop! Yes! The Last Word with Jim Rome. The only sports commentary that's truly, brutally honest. Weeknights at 11:30 on Fox Sports Net.
There's an old saying that goes, the faster you can move, the longer you can fish. Now couple that with first one there gets the best fishing spot, and you're ready for Yamaha's new high-pressure direct injection system on the VMAX 150. The only system that atomizes fuel at an unprecedented 700 PSI for power and fuel efficiency, quicker starts, and breathtaking acceleration. That's reason enough to call 1-800-88-YAMAHA today, because the faster you can move, the longer you can fish.
Absolutely love the area. Every summer we come here, it's great. You got the sun out, all the lakes. We have a boat. We can go lake to lake to lake, visit the bars and the people and the restaurants, and have a good time.
Oh, the shopping's great. You have a lot of different wood carvings that you can't find back home. Jewelry like you would not believe. Different kind of woodsy collectibles.
It's good for the dogs, and it's good for the kids, and good for me.
There's one. Get the net. At the beginning of last year, that was my goal to win Angler of the Year. And, when you start out a year, it's a long summer. I mean, it's a long season. And, and everybody's in the back of your mind, it's always, that'd be nice to do. But to put it together for 4 straight tournaments and to actually be that Angler of the Year at the end of the last tournament last year was just, it felt so good because of the fact that I was the most consistent angler out of everybody that fished. I'm more pumped this year about being Angler of the Year than I was last year. Because I know what it's like. I know what it can do. and nobody's ever done it back-to-back. You know, there's never been a back-to-back Angler of the Year ever in the whole tour. So, you know, I'm really excited to get back to doing it again.
Tommy, once again, we got to congratulate Chris Lidke, the coveted 2000 Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour's Angler of the Year.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chip, Chris was the most consistent angler last year on tour. He finished strongly in all the events. That's what put him on top at the end of the year in the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour Angler of the Year race.
And the way that race works is that anglers receive points in order to finish. If they win the tournament, they get 100 points. Second place gets 99, 98, 97, right in order. That's why it's very important from the first cast to the last, you got to keep plugging away for that coveted award.
And in this tournament, from the first cast to the last, it's going to be a battle. So let's head back out on the lake and see how the anglers are doing.
Yeah, well, it's about noon. We got, what do we got, Dad? 8 fish. I'm thinking about 16, 17 pounds, something like that. So we got about 2.5 hours left to fish. The bigger ones should start biting right about now. That's what we found in the past, so I'm excited. I think this is where they live, too. Big one.
Let's hope so. Okay.
Okay. We're fishing a, well, I guess it's a tournament frog, and some of the secrets is just a big heavy rod and big heavy line, so if you do get hooked up with a big fish, you can pull them out of there. Oh, something off to the left there. There's a lot of people have hooked big fish, but they're not able to get them out of the thick stuff, and then they lose them. So very important, especially sitting with, you know, 17, 18 pounds and a limit. You want to improve, so you got to get that big one in the boat.
We're in Rush Lake here now. Pat and I, we've got a limit of fish, but they're small. So we come over here. I know there's some thicker weeds here along the inside weed line, and we're hoping we can just take and flip some jigs around and maybe stumble across a better fish. We just need to get some bigger fish. And I would sure love to show you how one looks. This is one of our limits here. It's about 1.5 pounds, 1.75 pound fish. These are weed line fish. We caught these all out on the weed lines this morning. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we'll stumble into some better ones here and cull a couple of these out and improve our weight a little bit.
That a little one? Well, we started out on a deep spot that I had a 3.5 pounder on yesterday. Worked it for about an hour, couldn't catch any fish. Went to some other deep spots in a different area. And the deep pattern for me just fell apart. So we ended up struggling and going to the docks, and we have our limit at this point, but they're not very big. I doubt that one is even 2 pounds, our biggest fish might be, but not sure. So now we're scrambling right now. We got about an hour before we got to head back.
Right now we're in clamshell, fishing a weed line, fishing 12, 15 feet. We started out this morning on Butternut Point, and we had a limit by 9 o'clock. Nothing huge. The biggest one is about 3 pounds, but it was a lot of action. They were concentrated on the inside turn, and we were working with jig worms, 4-inch and 7-inch, and had a good time. Now we're just trying to upgrade and get some bigger fish.
Oh, nice fish. Yeah, we just saw Dean over there catch a nice fish. He's working the inside edge of those weeds and pulling them out of the edge of the weeds, flipping pockets, and we're working on the outside edge out here. And hopefully there's a few of his brothers and sisters sitting out here.
as I was pre-fishing, I come through and I got hung up with my raffle and I couldn't figure out why I was hung up. So I dropped my camera down, my AquaView, and I looked through there, and there's a bunch of trees that have fallen in the water here, or they didn't look like they were anchored with anything. It just looked like they might have drifted in here a few years ago. And I think that's what these fish are holding on, is just a bunch of logs that's in the middle of a weed bed. And everybody thinks we're flipping holes up in the middle here, but actually what we've got is logs in the water that I found with the AquaView. You know, the other thing that happens on these tournaments is they've gotten so competitive. Everybody seems to, when there's a school of fish, there is no secret spots anymore. And that's, like I said earlier, I was worried about boat 90. Now you can see why, because there's people. I had them on both sides of me and in the middle, and the guy in the, you know, when they find a fish, they get on them. That's the future right there, though. Little bucks like that out there on the dock, catching them. I remember when I did that, you know, my dad took us all the time up to Longville. And we used to fish off the dock, and we'd ride our bikes down to the bridge. And I think that's kind of what got me hooked on it, was just fishing all the time. And just like that little guy, he'll be your future tournament fisherman.
The Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour is brought to you by Starcraft Pontoons, Minnesota Office of Tourism, and Friendly Chevrolet.
What makes you think this is a good fishing spot?
Oh, just a hunch.
Hi, guys. How'd I bite?
Dad, that's Ellinger. That's Ted Takasaki. Gary Roach, Mr. Walleye.
Hi, Bob. Morning, boys.
Hey, Winkleman.
How'd you guys find this spot?
From our Minnesota Fishing Guide.
For this hot spot and 10,000 like it, get your free Explore Minnesota Fishing Guide today.
The sale's on now at the #1 Chevy dealer in the state, Friendly Chevrolet. Whether you buy or lease, the time is now. Put yourself in a new Chevy Prism today for just $99 a month. Or take home a brand new Chevy Malibu, Impala, Camaro, Corvette, or Venture Van. Now is the time to save big at Friendly Chevrolet. Like Chevy says, we'll be there. Friendly Chevrolet. Depend on us. The sale's on now.
A lot of times when you come to a Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour event, you see a lot of sponsor logos all over the place. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of sponsors. And the reason the sponsors are important to a tournament is because they give us a lot of moral support, they give us a lot of monetary support, and they help us out just with bodies at the tournament. The representatives of the sponsors come and they help us set up, they help us tear down, they help us with a lot of stuff in between. But what I think what the sponsor wants you to realize most of all is that fishing is fun. And when you go out on the water to do some fishing, take them along with you because it's going to add to your enjoyment.
Look at the belly on that bass, ladies and gentlemen. You can smile, it's okay. I'd be doggone proud of that fish myself. Well, you didn't just catch your 8, you ended up with 18.32 pounds, which should put you currently in 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken. Excellent job. How about a round of applause for these two anglers? Hold up a couple fish for these people. Look at the size of those Minnesota bass.
Boy, look at this beautiful crowd, man. Thanks for all showing up. We had a great time today. Caught some nice fish on topwater baits. Couldn't get a kicker, but that's the way it goes.
Top 5 weight right here, folks, 17.38 pounds.
Another threat on the Minnesota ProAm Bass Tour is a gentleman who fishes walleyes by week and bass by weekends. We've got Michael Carter from Badette, Minnesota. What would you say to leading the tournament?
That'd be just fine.
Then 18.63 gives you your new tournament leader.
This fish has got to beat 4.42 pounds to take the lead, 4.41 to beat it, but it's going to be close. 4.44 pounds, your new big fish leader, John Kubinski.
And we know that 22.01 pounds is leading it. Oh! 21.88, 21.88. Dean's going to put you in second place.
Right to me.
Folks, let's get some noise. This is the last angler of the day. He's got a big bag of fish. We're going to weigh him. Again, this is Jim Henriksen. Come on over here, Jim. And we've got his amateur partner, Paul Lewis. The difference in what first and second is about $2,300, 22.50. He needs 22.02 to win this tournament. I don't think you want to talk. I think you want to weigh. Let's get a weight right now. He's got over 28 pounds. There's your champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2001 Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour Whitefish Chain champion.
Well, we had a good tournament today. We were very fortunate, and we caught a lot of big fish. And everything we did seemed to work pretty good. We were fishing jigs and craws. But we went strictly for the big fish, and they were big. They were running probably like a 3.5, 3.75 pound average. Well, I like the Pro-Am when you get an amateur like I got who is actually a pro. I mean, this guy is so good. And I'll guarantee you I would have never, ever got this win without him.
Versatility was the key here at the Whitefish Chain, Tommy.
Most of the anglers concentrated on those shallow water fish ship, riding off the deep weight edge fish, but that's where the top three finished, fishing those deep weeds.
That's right, and experience paid off. Dean Capper, highest finish so far this year, launches him into the lead for the prestigious Angler of the Year race.
He finished in third, but the big story, second place, Brad Lutner and Mike Hansen, two young kids coming out in second with 22.01 pounds. Biggest story of the whole day, though, local boy Jim Henriksen.
Slam dunks the rest of the crowd with over 6 pounds over the rest of the field. Absolutely mind-boggling weight. That means this is the end of our Whitefish event. Brings us to our third stop on the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour. So we're going to see you
in La Hamadou
for the Minnesota Pro-Am Bass Tour.